Rotorua ahead in tonight's bulletin. We have comment from the council press conference yesterday announcing changes at the airport. Locals pack out the Scammers Savvy community meeting held in Rotorua yesterday, and a women's enduro biking event marking Women's Riding Month is on this weekend. Rotorua District Council has announced it will consult the public on a proposal to transfer the assets of Rotorua International Airport to the airport company. The proposed transfer would see the airport's operations and the council's asset ownership consolidated into a single entity, Rotorua Regional Airport Limited, with the council retaining its 100% shareholding. The announcement was made at a special press conference at Council.
I have to say, from my point of view, these are legacy issues, and that's why some of our agendas have been confidential. They've been substantial decisions for councillors to make. They have a substantial impact on the community's belief in itself and going forward. And they haven't been made lightly. So we've needed and called for quite considerable detail to back our decision, and overarchingly we wanted to be transparent and also make sure that this asset, which is very important to us and to the region, can go forward on a sound commercial footing.
And Rotorua Regional Airport Limited and the Rotorua District Council, in conjunction with Air New Zealand, have announced the suspension of the Sydney-Rotorua flights from the end of April next year. Rotorua Airport Chief Executive Alistair Rhodes says the airport will focus on future opportunities.
So for us, it would always be difficult for us to operate on the Tasman. We've also got Auckland Airport 3 hours up the road with 9 or 10 flights a day to Sydney versus our two flights a week. Our competitive advantage, which is where we're going to start really focusing on, is transiting these international tourists from the North to South Island. So if you think about back to 2006 when our airport was really humming, we had 2 to 3 jets a day between Rotorua and Christchurch. That was all North to South Island tourism flows, and that's what we're going to focus on going forward. And that's our opportunity, that's our competitive advantage from a network perspective that we're going to be really focusing on.
Local police, Age Concern and Neighbourhood Support held a community meeting in Rotorua yesterday after a number of elderly residents were targeted in what's been described as a series of scams.
Now, the major issue we've got with the recent incidents is that these, you can call it scammers, are playing on the good nature of people who are givers. People who have got a heart of gold, who will give everything they have in order for somebody to have a better life.
How could the police press charges in this situation? Because that's what everyone's asking. Can anything be done? What's the legalities of the situation here?
If people are asking for money for reasons that are untrue, then that is often a situation where we can take some action and prosecute the people. Where it becomes difficult for the police is when people are asking to borrow money. The people are giving the money willingly. There's a promise to pay the money back. We often, or just about always, cannot do anything in that situation. It's a civil matter, a bad debt if you like. We can't recover that person's debt if they've defaulted on borrowed money.
In sport tonight, it's Women's Ride Month and events are being held all over the city aimed at encouraging more women into biking.
October's all about Women's Ride Month, and it's an initiative that we're really, really proud of. It's all about giving women the tools and the experiences that they need to get out and get riding. Wonderful. But looking at the events that are coming up, Friday the 17th we've got the Women's Enduro, so it's a have a go. So this is women that haven't entered an event before, or perhaps one that have done it previously but want to pass on some experiences that they've had with other women just to empower them and inspire them and give them confidence.
To your weather now, Rotorua. Tonight, fine, light winds, an overnight low of 8. Tomorrow, Thursday, mainly fine, morning and evening cloud, northeasterly breeze, a high of 19 and low of 10. Outlook for Friday, cloudy periods, drizzle developing, northwesterlies, a high of 16 and low of 11. Marine forecast for Lake Rotorua, northerly 10 knots developing late morning, then rising to 15 knots for a time in the afternoon. Waves less than half a metre and mainly fine. Still to come in tonight's show, we visit Plunket to find out about plans to build a new centre. Local collector Frank Grapple gets a surprise visit in honour of his philanthropy, and we find out what's coming up at the Arts Centre.
A new home for Plunket. We popped down to the headquarters to have a quick chat with the Lakes Area President, Emma Hardy. Emma, it's a great time for a catch-up. Some new and exciting things happening, I hear.
Yes, there is. We've got a building in the pipeline.
Does that mean that you're moving residents? What does that mean?
We're going to stay on site where we are here in Pukewatua Street, but it will be a brand new purpose-built building. So our old and tired Plunket house is going to be replaced.
And why is this needed?
We have completely outgrown our space, and currently our nurses are based off-site. They're not here with us, so we want to have our clinical and community staff together, as well as having modern, friendly and bigger spaces for our families.
And where did this idea come from?
Came from the community. There's more need. We only have one classroom and it's booked pretty much all week, and we have other groups wanting to use it, and we want to offer more community groups, and it's a bit of a safety hazard at the moment too, so we just want to make things safe.
Oh, well, that's always a good reason. So what things will you be doing in the new building?
So the new building obviously will have our nurses on site. We're also looking at bringing in as many community organisations as we can. So anything that relates from parenting for under fives, looking at different allergy groups, budgeting groups, hopefully getting some legal advice on site, anything that can benefit young families.
This isn't going to be cheap. Have you started fundraising?
We have started. We've been quietly working away for the past few years to get a little bit of a nest to get us started. So yes, we have, but we've got 3 events planned in the next 6 months to get us going, and we're also looking at community funding options as well.
How much do you need?
Our initial estimations were $750,000. We're hoping to get it cheaper than that, but yeah, at minimum I would say $500,000.
And what can the community do to help?
We need hands. We'd love to have volunteers who have anything from an hour to give a month to a one-off. They might have 2 weeks spare time, or anyone who has knowledge or experience in this field, because we're not builders, we don't really know. Anyone who's got any fundraising ideas or just wants to get on board and help out, we can find something suited to individual needs.
So you did say that it's going to encompass quite a lot of things, but what does this mean, this change, for mums and babies?
For mums and babies, it gives them somewhere to go, a one-stop shop where if they've got a problem, they need somebody to talk to, they just need somewhere quiet, somewhere to pop in and breastfeed. If it's raining outside and they need somewhere quiet. We're also currently exploring the option of having what we call a parenting day service, where if mum is having problems with routines, feeding, sleeping, she can pop in and get some expert advice.
And who have you got supporting you?
We've got local community groups behind us. All the groups that are currently using our space are right behind us, and we've gone a little bit wider and are talking to midwives and other providers in the community as well to make it a broad spectrum service.
So what do you imagine this building would look like?
This building is going to be bright, friendly, welcoming, spacious. We want to utilise the section we've got here to its full potential, so making sure that the car parking facilities are safe in terms of cars reversing around children, and making sure we can make the most of that. We also want it to be very welcoming for the community, for everybody in our community, and not just families, also other groups who want to come and use it. We're looking at eco-friendly options and also incorporating other community groups to come and help us decorate it. If they've got any ideas, would like to paint murals, anything like that, we'd welcome anybody's ideas and input.
So for those in our community that have a way that they can help or some input to give, how can they get a hold of you?
Okay, pop into Plunket House on Pukewatua Street, or the best bet is to give us a call on 350-1517 and leave a message, and we will get back to you. We also have a Rotorua Facebook page, and you can contact us that way.
Thank you, Emma. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Frank Grapple's home. And for those of us, we'll recognise this gentleman, but we've never been in his home. One thing that does stand out is that he's an avid collector of all things Frank. And what I mean by that is that there's not one thing that you can put to any type of genre, he collects them all. Which leads me to think, Frank, that that was the real passion behind you entering an auction like this.
Oh, definitely. It played a major role in wanting to have the wines, especially for the good cause that the money will be going to.
Because this is quite a collector's item, would you say?
Definitely once in a blue moon, possibly a one-off and never to be done again. And if it will be, dare I say, some of these legends may not be around at that time, so it will truly live forever.
How did you find out about the auction?
I was searching for a cabinet and for my memorabilia collection that I have and that my father had and that I've kept since he passed on. And I needed, as can be seen in my home, to put everything that I can't actually fit right now. And then when I went on to Trade Me and was searching for anyone in the Rotorua region, what had actually happened to come up on the front page was Rotorua born and bred local hero Cliff Curtis and holding one of these fantastic wines, and it just caught my attention and I thought, well, that might be something I'd like to have to go with my memorabilia. And I admire him for all the work he's done, and especially for all the youth inspiring the rest of us. Like the movie Boy, for example, which he was the producer of. And then as I bid on that, other faces started popping up through the list and the line, with the likes of Sir Richard Hadley, former Prime Minister Jim Bolger, Olympic gold medal cyclist Sarah Ulmer, and so on. And you've got all these fantastic names with a huge legacy and huge honours that have inspired all Kiwis from all walks of life. And I thought, well, I'd like to have a piece of that history in my home for everybody to enjoy and to share and to witness for themselves. So whenever they might possibly be lucky enough to drink the wine with me or just to admire it from the cabinet that I do hope to get in the future, that they'll be thinking about the legacy they've all left behind.
One thing that you said to me that really stood out, it was you against the world.
Indeed.
Talk me through that process. What do you mean by that?
Well, I realised as the bidding continued, and I bought one more wine after the other and one more wine after the other, as we say in the Czech Republic, because I'm half Czech, we say jeszcze jedno, so it's never enough, you've got to have one more, especially when it comes to the beer over there. In this case, it'll be wine. And, you realise that after a while, a lot of corporate companies and big businesses would have been bidding on these too. And as Tania, the general manager from Agrasea, has mentioned to me that, I'm pretty much the only one individually against these companies that have taken a majority on. So it's, taking on the world and taking on the big man and winning in the end.
Congratulations.
It can be only one.
How did that process work?
Oh, well, after you buy one, you get another, and then you got the other people that are bidding against you, so the price drives up more and more, higher and higher. In some cases, lower than others, depending on what people are looking for and whom they admire in the celebrity realm of what they've achieved. I should say, whether it be sport or TV, radio, and so on. And I thought, oh well, bugger it. I'm not going to lose out to these people, and we're going to take them on by keep going. So it was tit for tat. It was like in the wrestling ring, you got to tag yourself back in after you've been knocked down, jump back over the top rope, and get back in there for the 1, 2, 3.
And this was all via Trade Me?
Absolutely. And so that was actually the first time I actually went on to Trade Me, purely out of curiosity, looking for a cabinet. I couldn't find anything for a decent price. So I wanted around Rotorua to behold the souvenirs that I have. So fate would have it, here we are speaking now.
Mm. And what charities were you hoping would be supported by this effort?
Well, in what sense?
Well, do you know who the money's going to?
At the moment, I've been asked to make a decision. There are 4 involved, with SPCA Auckland, Starship Hospital, Sustainable Coastlines, which is also fantastic, and Canteen New Zealand, to help the cause of the youth that are going through the trials and tribulations of dealing with the different forms of cancer. So I said, geez, what am I going to do? Could I possibly donate to all 4 and split the money up, or would it not make much of a dent, or would it just be better just to go just for the one and drive a decent amount of money into there? So I'm still deciding.
So how much, for the Lucky charity, how much have you donated?
Well, we're looking at just about the cause of $1,500. So that's what I believe the amount's just about total up to, give or take. And we're going to confirm that today. When you're betting on something like this, you don't think about what it's going to come up to the total at the time, and then you've got the fire and the adrenaline running inside your stomach, and you're pushing about wanting to outbid everybody else, and then you got to hold back and think about times like now about that the purpose of this in the first place was to go to a great cause. So I've got to thank Agracy for putting that on as well, and being a major part of that to give me the opportunity as much as the charity.
Thank you so very much for having us. It's been a pleasure, Frank.
Oh, thank you. The pleasure's all mine, and it's been a privilege to host all of you. Thank you for your patience. And just a word for everybody in Rotorua, no matter how much money you have, small or big, I'm not a rich man by any sense, but anything you can give that would be great for any charity that's a good cause, especially like Canteen, which is where I'm leaning heavily to go towards to help their cure in youth cancer. Anything you can give, whether it's $1 or $2, something always goes a long way in life, and then it always comes back to you in some good way, shape or form. So kia ora.
Cheers.
Thank you.
There's such a positive vibe down here at the Arts Village. I wonder if it's because it's the school holidays. With me we have Centre Manager Mary Beth Akers to talk about some of these wonderfully cool things I'm seeing down here, Mary.
Yeah, we're wearing our insides on the outside at the moment, trying to get a bit of colour popping. We've always got a really, really busy school holiday program, but it's nice to have some of the stuff happening outside of the room so everybody can see it.
I see that, because what have we got here all over the windows?
Yeah, so this is chalk paint done with an artist from the incubator in Tauranga, Simone, who is a fantastic artist, and she took the kids yesterday and doing some cool window drawings, and I've already had one adult ring up this morning and say, can you leave them up? Can you leave out some chalk pens so we can do some too.
So you have the holiday program down here. What have you been doing for the last 2 weeks?
So there's been all sorts. Today they're doing camera obscuras and shadow puppets. They've been doing a whole bunch of stuff with clay. For the first time we had 2 programs for the 5 to 7 age group as well, which was fully booked, and they've been making things and creating things and running around and doing all sorts.
What's the highlights? What have you enjoyed the most personally as manager?
The highlights, the highlight is that the families who come once always come back, and so you get to see kids who came when they were this high and they're now that high, and some have got glasses and some are reading giant adult books, and it's nice that the families and the kids all have this great relationship with the village, and we love that they come back.
It must be like a family atmosphere down here, because not only do you have the children down here decorating the village, you also have a lot of classes down here as well. So what have we got going today?
So today we've got a couple of our interest groups, one is Creative Fibre, who has a meeting every Thursday, and the Guys Land Art group, who meet every Thursday as well. We've also got 5 new classes coming up, 4 of which are part of a taster series, so we're trying to do some cool half-day beginner classes that are at an affordable price for people to come get more involved in the arts.
That's really cool. Have you noticed around town that you have inspired graffiti bombing with the knit art? Have you noticed that?
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of yarn bombing. The Rotorua yarn bombers who started here with this project have been so busy doing bollards and trees. And what's really cool is it's part of a global movement. So recently I was in South Africa and I walked into my grandmother's retirement village, and in front of me was a yarn bomb tree.
That's great. I hear that X Factor is coming down here to the Arts Village. I'm not too sure how much you know about it, but what do you know? What can you tell us?
So it's the pre-audition round for Rotorua, we're really excited to have them here. The auditions are happening on Monday the 27th of October between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. And if there's anybody who's wanting to get involved with that and dip their foot in the pool, they can find out more by going to tv3.co.nz/xfactornz.
Why the Arts Village, do you think?
I think we're just the natural place for creative things to happen, I hope.
I think so too, actually, because I definitely notice it. Can we go around and have a look? Can you take us around and show us what's happening down here today?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's go. So we've got Janae and Monica who have been taking part in the holiday program, haven't you, ladies?
Yes.
And what's your favourite thing to do down here at the Arts Village?
I think I like doing the skull.
What's that?
It's this thing that we made out of clay.
So you've been doing clay work?
Just one time.
And did you like that, did you?
Yes.
What else have you done?
We done some I forgot it.
That's okay. Monica, what's your favourite thing?
Sewing.
You like sewing. What have you sewn?
I've sewn this horse that I've made. And I've made it a crown and a cape.
And have you done that for anyone in particular, or was that for you?
No, just for myself.
Did you remember what else you liked?
Doing this picture of Frida Kahlo.
Ooh. And do you think it's really valuable, this program down here at the Arts Village? Have you gotten a lot out of it?
Yes.
And have you made friends?
Yes.
And have you been here often?
No.
Is this your first time?
No. Oh, Monday was my first time.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're new. And what about you, Monica?
I've came here lots of times. I live in Auckland and I just come here for the holidays.
Oh, wow, that's so cool. Well, thank you so much for letting me have a chat with you. Do you happen to have your skull around here anywhere?
No.
Okay, that's okay. What about you, Monica? Have you got your sewing?
No, it's at home.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. So what are we doing down here today?
Well, it's our club day and we meet every Thursday at the Arts Village. We have people knitting, we have people spinning, and we also do crochet, felting, dyeing of wool and so on.
Well, thank you so much, Marjorie, for letting us peek.
That's fine.
Thank you so much for allowing us to have a peek around. Is there anything coming up that you'd like us to know about?
Thanks very much for coming down. We've got a couple of things that are really important for people to know. The first is that we're going to be opening on Saturdays starting from next week on October the 18th between 10 and 2 every Saturday from now on. And the other thing is we've got a really cool exhibition opening for the Again Upcycled exhibition on Friday, October the 17th starting at 6 p.m, which is going to have all sorts of artistic people from the whole region, so it's a great one for people to come down. Free, we have drinks and nibbles.
Great things happening at the Arts Centre. Melanie Groves was talking with the Centre Manager, Mary Beth Akers. If you would like to contact the show, email news@tv-rotorua.co.nz. Thanks for watching tonight. From all the team here at City News, Paul Marie.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.